In this video we're going to show you how to take apart an Autoprop H5 Tab Washer propeller. To service the Autoprop H5 propeller, you're going to need a couple of things. It's advised to print off the instructions off the website, just so you've got a little guide to follow through. You're going to need the peg spanner to take the blade caps off. This is TRI 168, just like so. There's a nut spanner on the inside for the lock nut. This is TRI 197. Again, these can be made, the peg spanner and the nut spanner, just using flat bar stock. This is one I've made myself. Just a couple of cap head screws, and then just a grinding wheel, and then just cut them down to size. This is very useful if you're stuck around the world trying to do this and not able to get the tools. The last one you need is just a 3mm Allen key, and then once you have all this, we're good to go. Now the first thing to do when you're taking the propeller apart is to take off the grease channel screws. These are M5 bolts, or a 3mm Allen key. Just takes them in, and you're just going to be winding them off. If you have a service kit for this, we provide fresh screws and the little O-rings, so you can discard these and we'll fit fresh ones. Now once you remove the grease channel screws, the next thing to remove is the blade cap. Now this can be the most challenging part of the whole repair process, so do bear with it. You use the peg spanner, and it just locate to the holes with the peg spanner, and it's a case of holding the blade down. Now obviously this has been done for camera, so this would be typically held down with pistol clamps or something like so. Hold the propeller down on the workbench, and then it's a case of either using a hammer to knock it. We use something like this in the workshop, just a piece of bar, just as a torque multiplier to locate it in the holes and then wind it off. So once you're aware it's very difficult to get these off, just keep at it. Now this is obviously quite straightforward. So it's again just a standard thread. Just wind the cap off. Now once you do pull the cap off, you probably find as it first comes away there'll be a little bit of water weep out. This is normal, and you can see the grease is a much darker colour than when we put it in. Again, just taking the blade cap off, there's an O-ring seal in here that we have to replace, and then we need to clean the grease up inside, and then we need to start taking the nut off. Once you have the grease cleaned out from the bearing, you have access to the inner workings of the Autoprop, and you can see here the lock nuts on the top there, and there's in each of the quadrants there's a slot cut down. And this is designed to connect with the tab washer, which is the name where we get the bearing kit from. And one of the fronds you can see here is bent up and is fitted into this slot here. Now the idea is that the frond bends up and prevents the washer from unwinding, so it's a very crucial part. To unlock it, you just take a small screwdriver into the slot. You're probably going to have to get a hammer to tap it out, and then just bend the frond backward like so, and just to get it to clear like that, get it to clear the slot. Once the tab's been released from the tab washer, the nut will effectively be free, and on this one I can actually just unwind it by hand. So we need to go ahead and unwind the nut off. You can again use the 2 pins on the nut spanner, locate, and the nut winds off. Now this is more important for when we're reassembling it, but it gives the idea. And then we have the nut spanner. With the nut off, you're exposed now to the tab washer, and you can see from here, if I just pull it out, there we go. It's just a washer with a single tab on the inside that locates on this notch in the post, and fronds like a daisy, and one of those again was used to bend round. So this comes off again. You see it gets quite messy but quite quickly. And now we should have, let's get a rag. There you go. You're exposed to the inner workings of the propeller, and you can see already that the blades now start to become loose, and On a bench, I would normally tip this over so we can catch the ball bearings. Let's see if I can do it. Like so. And you have a taper roller bearing in the top here, and there's a row of ball bearings in the back there. Now, depending on how well the seal's been maintained, depends on the condition of them. So let's see what this one does. Gently just wiggle the blade backwards and forwards. Again, this should be on a. I use a pipe vise normally in the workshop to clamp the boss, and it keeps it level so all the bearings don't fall out. But they don't seem to be moving at the moment. So we just move this forward, and there we go. Okay, so we're looking at this one here. Let's show that for camera. So we can see on this one, now there's part of the taper roller bearing race, and I can see on this one it's a little bit rusty. So this is really a good candidate for rebuild. You can see here, you can see the lip seal, and then you can see as well the ball bearings in the race. There isn't much grease in this one. So this is probably why it's needed to be rebuilt. With the blade removed, the next part is to get the remaining part of the taper roller bearing away from the blade. And this is just a case of, you can see it here, it's a little bit rusty there. It's just a case of gently tapping and just getting it to come away. And it should just slide out. Like so. Next we need to take out the lip seal, and this is just the seal around the edge there. It's just a case of using a pair of pliers and lifting it off, pulling it back on itself, and away it comes. Now this is a custom part, and it's when you put it back together, sometimes it doesn't go on quite right, so it's a good idea to try and take it off carefully, just in case one of the other ones are damaged there. And there you have it. We've just removed one blade there. We've got the ball bearings to take off and discard. And we can see the blade's in good shape. What we're looking for here is any cracks or any missing parts of the blade channel there. It's all good here. And again, around here, the bronze is still a bronze colour. Even though it's a very old propeller, it's in very, very good shape. So I'm quite confident we can put this one back together. Very, very straightforward. So next thing I'm going to do is clean up the blades, clean up the tracks, clean everything up. You can just use wire wool or rags or any sort of solvent just to clean it all up. And then we have a wire wheel that we push all the blades through and get them up to a nice clean shine. Just checking over all the parts that contact, making sure there's no cracks. We should be good to go. Thank you for watching.